promising that this one will not. That was a shot. That was a
Capital task. The referee
is undefeated in his young campaign to the squared circle. The popular media sensation and the undefeated boxer known as Jake Paul.
The baddest man on the planet. One of the most devastating heavyweight KO punchers of all times. Iron Mike Tyson.
Count to 10, y'all two are the judges. Let's touch them up. Rook, when are you ready? Buck!
And we've had an accidental headbutt. I heard
Jake Paul seems pretty relaxed.
okay, because I'm like, you can't run in this.
I don't want any more
What you
of this.
mean?
Mike
My uncles
Tyson
is out there fighting right now.
Yep.
You still got it?
Well, there's a double, triple jab with Mike Tyson.
He does.
Referee encouraging them. Two legends left.
Would this be a round?
Possible task. The referee will have to really be on the.
Felt like a body. Then that left hook kind of landed.
That was a shot. That was
Right hand, maybe the side of the back, Jake Paul up.
Oh, right hand to the body. Another hip hop OG Snoop Dogg. And look at this.
Nice combination.
A little bit
A little uppercut from Jake Paul. Back
too slow on his feet. Well, he was already cut up right there.
Yeah, that was
Nice 1-2 there. That was a solid 1-2 by.
Forward remains. Oh, just clocked 1 minute rounds.
more so. Willie just doesn't seem comfortable in there. He took a right hand from
Liver and upstairs with that left hook, and there's a little of that bobbing weaving, of course.
Good exchange there in the inside. That was a pretty good uppercut, but that was pretty.
up and not take no big hits, but keep it in tight like that.
But is it entertaining and exciting for?
He can't let Mike get.
Skills of some of the greatest MMA strikers ever, including Ed Banner. Like some of them.
Look,
There's a double left hook by Tyson.
he can't let Mike get settled with the right hand.
That was a move and a half. He went real low. That was a low rider move right there.
A very good will have to
Punch value, upping it. You see the fighter week.
all of what they were in their prime, but Tyson.
I was wondering all week, how will come out? Couldn't get a read on the guy.
Have to break this up. Grandma, they out there fighting again.
Battered him with the right hand to the butt.
Absolutely.
Mike Tyson picking off.
Put some back.
Liver and upstairs with that left thing in their midst. Oh, and there he hosted by Mario Lopez, and what an eclectic team.
You fucking hit him. You breathe and relax. You're fucking doing great. You took back. You gotta keep your hands up though, baby. You need to fucking give me Muhammad Ali right here. Last minute.
Use that jab. Keep Tyson at distance. The exhibition is over. Mike Tyson.
Mike wants some more. What it is.
God of Wars of summoning him. Getting Mike frustrated.
There we see that. Only one big shot.
Hosted by Mario Lopez, and what an eclectic team.
Made him miss.
That's what I'm talking about.
Trying to make him pay. Look at the way he cut the angle on that. Really impressive. Mike's
Oh, right hand to the body. Another.
Give me Muhammad Ali right here. Last minute check. You hear me? And decision right here.
This bout is presented the Problem Child, Jake Paul.
And the Catskills in Henderson, Nevada, USA. He is from the IBF Tyson.
All right, gentlemen, I gave you the rules in there. Two legends. Fight hard, fight clean, touch them up.
Here we go, live.
on the backside and get caught with it.
The announcement of a fight between Mike Tyson and Jake Paul sent shockwaves across the boxing world. What once seemed an improbable bout between a boxing legend and a modern social media sensation had suddenly become a reality. The excitement, tension, and anticipation grew to monumental levels as fans from all walks of life weighed in with their predictions, opinions, and sentiments. The unlikely matchup. The stage was set when Jake Paul, the YouTuber turned boxer, issued an audacious challenge to Mike Tyson, arguably one of the greatest heavyweights to ever step foot in the ring. This move came as no surprise to those familiar with Jake's penchant for calling out high-profile athletes. While Paul had already won several fights against MMA fighters and even a professional boxer, many felt that he was way out of his league when it came to Tyson. Tyson, a former undisputed world heavyweight champion and one of the most feared fighters in history, still commanded immense respect despite being in his 50s. The boxing community was divided. Some saw it as a spectacle designed for pay-per-view profits, while others argued that the fight was a legitimate contest. Even at his advanced age, Tyson remained an imposing figure with fast hands, relentless power, and years of experience that many believed would dismantle a young, untested boxer like Jake Paul. On the other hand, Jake had youth, fitness, and growing experience in the sport on his side. Training camps and media circus. The lead up to the fight was nothing short of a media frenzy. Both camps began extensive preparations, and every moment was captured and broadcast to the eager audience. Tyson's training camp became a reminder of his incredible work ethic. Despite his age, Tyson appeared to be in phenomenal shape, with clips surfacing of him sparring, hitting pads with ferocity, and displaying his legendary footwork. His team assured fans that Iron Mike was ready to make a statement, proving that he still had the fire burning inside him. Jake Paul, meanwhile, took the fight seriously. No longer viewed solely as a YouTuber, he had transformed into a legitimate boxer in the eyes of some. His rise had been meteoric, albeit controversial, as many still questioned whether he could handle someone with the caliber of Tyson. Under the guidance of his trainer, Jake focused on refining his technique, stamina, and defense. The key for Jake was to avoid engaging in Tyson's famous power game, which could potentially spell disaster. The constant trash talk between the two camps fueled public interest. Jake Paul, known for his brash confidence, claimed that Tyson was past his prime and that he, representing the new era of fighters, was ready to retire the legend for good. Tyson, in turn, was focused but more composed in his interviews, letting his punches do most of the talking. Fight night, a clash of eras. When the day of the fight arrived, it felt like a convergence of two different worlds. The venue was packed, filled with fans who had come to witness history unfold. In the arena, there was an air of both excitement and disbelief. On one side, fans of Mike Tyson, who had followed his career through its numerous highs and lows, were eager to see their hero put the brash YouTuber in his place. On the other side, Jake Paul's young followers, many of whom had never seen Tyson fight in his prime, were rooting for their generation's star. As the fighters made their way to the ring, the energy in the room was palpable. Tyson, with his signature black trunks and intimidating presence, looked every bit the legend he was. Jake Paul, sporting a more colorful and modern look, seemed composed and confident, despite the daunting task ahead of him. Both men exuded a sense of readiness. The opening bell rang, and the fight began. Early rounds, a surprising start. From the onset, it was clear that both fighters had different game plans. Tyson, true to form, moved forward aggressively, looking to close the distance and land his trademark hooks and uppercuts. His hands were still fast, and his punches packed significant power. However, Jake Paul was no easy target. He used his footwork and jab to keep Tyson at bay, trying to control the pace of the fight. To the surprise of many, Jake managed to survive the early rounds. He showed remarkable composure, slipping Tyson's punches and responding with his own countershots. His youth and conditioning played a crucial role, allowing him to move around the ring and avoid getting cornered by Tyson's ferocity. Tyson, for his part, landed a few solid punches, but Paul absorbed them well. This wasn't the same Tyson of the 80s and 90s, who could knock out opponents with a single punch. Age had taken away some of his sharpness, but his experience and ring IQ were undeniable. Nonetheless, it became clear that the fight was more competitive than many had initially anticipated. Mid-fight, momentum shifts. As the fight progressed into the middle rounds, Jake Paul began to gain confidence. He started landing more significant shots, snapping Tyson's head back with well-timed jabs and right hands. Tyson, though still dangerous, was starting to slow down. His explosive bursts were becoming less frequent, and his movement wasn't as crisp as it had been earlier in the fight. Jake capitalized on this, pushing forward with more combinations and finding success with body shots. The crowd was beginning to see that Jake Paul, despite his brash demeanor, had put in the work and was genuinely holding his own against one of the greatest heavyweights in history. The narrative of the fight was slowly changing. No longer was it about whether Jake could survive. It was now about whether he could actually win. Tyson's corner, sensing the shift in momentum, urged him to step up the pressure. But the years of fighting and the natural decline of physical abilities were catching up to him. While he still had moments of brilliance, including a powerful uppercut that staggered Jake in the 7th round, Tyson wasn't able to follow up with the relentless barrage that had once made him so feared. The final rounds, an upset in the making. Heading into the championship rounds, it was clear that the fight was close. Both fighters had their moments, but Jake Paul's youth, stamina, and tactical approach were starting to give him an edge. Tyson, though still dangerous, appeared winded and was struggling to keep up with the pace. In the 10th round, Jake Paul landed a clean right hand that rocked Tyson. The crowd gasped as the legend stumbled backward, clearly hurt. Jake, sensing an opportunity, pressed forward, unleashing a flurry of punches. Tyson, ever the warrior, tried to fight back, but his age and fatigue were evident. He was no longer the unstoppable force he had once been. To the astonishment of the crowd, Jake Paul dominated the final rounds. He continued to land combinations, pushing Tyson back and controlling the fight. The once unthinkable was now becoming a reality. Jake Paul was on the verge of defeating Mike Tyson. The final bell and decision. When the final bell rang, both fighters were exhausted but proud of their efforts. The fight had been far more competitive than anyone had imagined. As the scorecards were being tallied, there was an air of uncertainty. Had Jake Paul done enough to win? Would the judges favor Tyson's power punches? Or would they reward Jake's consistency and ring control? After what felt like an eternity, the ring announcer stepped forward with the results. Ladies and gentlemen, after 12 rounds of boxing, we go to the scorecards. The judges scored about 115 to 113, 116 to 112, and 114 to 114. And the winner, by majority decision, Jake Paul. The arena erupted in a mixture of shock, cheers, and boos. Jake Paul had just defeated Mike Tyson. The YouTuber-turned-boxer, once dismissed as a sideshow in the world of professional boxing, had pulled off one of the most improbable upsets in the sport's history. The aftermath, a new era? The reactions to the fight were as varied as the lead-up. Many fans of Mike Tyson were heartbroken, unable to comprehend how their hero had lost to a much younger, less experienced fighter. For them, Tyson's legacy would remain untarnished, as age and time had clearly played a significant role in the outcome. Others saw it as a passing of the torch, a moment where the old guard had given way to the new. Jake Paul, for his part, celebrated the victory with his trademark bravado. He declared himself the future of boxing and taunted his critics, many of whom had doubted his ability to compete at a high level. Whether or not Jake would ever be accepted by the traditional boxing community remained to be seen, but there was no denying that he had earned a place in the sport's history with this win. Tyson, ever gracious in defeat, praised Jake for his performance. The kid fought well. Tyson said in his post-fight interview, "He's got a bright future ahead of him. It wasn't my night, but that's boxing. I've had my time, and now it's his turn." As the dust settled on one of the most talked about fights in recent memory, questions lingered. Would Jake Paul continue his rise in the boxing world, or was this victory a one-off? And what would be next for Mike Tyson, the man who had once been the baddest man on the planet?